Hey crafters, great to have you with me. DM Scotty here. Today I have a really interesting thing to show you. It's a modular 2.5D cavern system I've been working on. Now those of you that aren't familiar with my 2.5D system, basically it's making tiles that have simulated walls that make play much easier. And we add 3D objects and that kind of thing to the tiles, but we still make the tiles for the table. Well, with this system you don't really need tiles. You can just use the system to make caverns on the fly. So this is really nice for DMs who really like to wing it, and it's super easy to do. Works just as good as the regular 2.5D system. Make it take a little bit more time to set up, but not much. So if you're intrigued, let's go to the table and I'll show you how I easily and quickly make those cavern walls. I'm going to use this piece of an old folder so my project won't stick, and you could use a cutting board also. Just going to use some paper towels, dip it in the water, spread it out on my piece of board there, and then just put some glue on it. Get another piece, kind of roll it out like a cigar, okay? And I kind of pinch the ends, kind of crumple the interior, and then just kind of bend it into the shape I want, and then put some glue on it. I'll just move it over to the cutting board that I have these drying on. So here they've dried. I'm going to use some more white glue. This will harden them up, give some extra strength to these guys. So I'll just put some white glue on there and get the length of all the pieces. And they won't stick to the cutting board, so that's nice. You can just use a cheap cutting board to do this. So I'll just spread that glue out. And then after I get all that spread out, I will just let that dry up. There we go, already. Now here they are, they're dried. I'm going to pull them off the board. May take a little bit of force there, but they'll come off. There we go. So just pop those off. And then if there's any excess bits, you can just trim them off with the scissors. Clean them up a bit. Might be some glue. If there's an extra piece of paper towel sticking off, you can cut that off. And just make them all nice and smooth on the edges. Then I'm going to do the bottoms like I did the tops, and this will just give it extra strength. Because these are just strips of paper towel, so you want as much strength as possible. And this will really firm those up quite a bit. And so I'll just go through the entire lot. And I use water to thin it out. Now I've spray painted them flat black. And I'm going to do some painting. So I'm going to use a tan. You could really use any tan. A gray. And you have a burnt sienna too, which is a reddish brown. So I'm just going to use these three colors and fill these in. Okay. So I wet my brush, get it quite wet, and I'm using the gray on it first. Okay. And then I use a little bit of burnt sienna and some tan to give it some color variation. All right. And now I'll just do the same with the other pieces and just keep going through and keep continuing to do your cave pieces so they look like natural stone. And there we go. That's all there is to it. Those have dried up nicely, looking good. But I want to add some extra strength to these. So I'm going to turn them over and then use a glue gun on these. So I'm going to squirt some glue on there and spread it out in a thin sheet. And what this will do is this will do two things. It'll strengthen the piece, and it will make it so it doesn't slip on the table. It's kind of rubbery. The glue's kind of rubbery, so it really helps with keeping it in place on the table. So that's a nice extra benefit to that. There we go. That's all there is to it. And just do all your strips and you're set. So now for the next phase, I want to do a color called Pebble, which is kind of a light gray tan. I'll just kind of just dry brush that, and that'll really pull out that detail and make it look like rock. So there we go. And then I want to do another color of a country gray. This is a lighter gray, so it's just a highlight, and just add a little bit of that to the top, and that gives it really a nice stone texture. All right. So it's ready for the table, and we'll hit the table and show you what it looks like. Here I've got my table set up and some characters, and I put down a vinyl mat, my rock vinyl mat. Here's an entrance I made just out of cardboard and paper, actually, and hot glue and some construction sand. So here you could do like a false cliff face and put it on the front of where the cavern would be, and you could have battles out there, or whatever you want to do. And yeah, so that was just really simply constructed. I'll show you guys that in a later video. And so we could remove that, and you could also put other things to mark the cave entrance. So let me grab those out of my container here, and here we go. So I've got a bunch of stuff that I've got for the caverns. I've got these pillars that I made, and I'll show those in another video, but you could use those to mark the entrance, right? So you wouldn't even need to make that one piece. And those look really great. You could also do something else. So let's remove those. And I had some pillars they were just some cheap toy pillars I painted up. And you could use those to mark the entrance like it was an old civilization that had carved out the cave or something and had pillars at the front. So yeah, you could mark the entrance with any number of things like this. And so here I'll just go into the cavern itself. I remove the walls, which I would do in play because you don't want them obstructing play, so they're easy to just take off the table. So now I've got my cavern pieces. I've got my characters have moved in, and I grab a wall out of the tote there. And the great thing about this is, unlike a tile, you could put down only as much as the characters could see. So if they have a low light source, they may only see that far, whereas if you made a cavern tile, they'd see the whole tile. But here's the entrance, so you can mark the entrance that way. Put a couple of those stone pillars there. Then we can expand the cave, so when they move in, they see more. And also, when they move in and see more, you can start laying down terrain. So here's some stalagmites I made, and here's put another piece down to enlarge the cave there. Sorry, it's at the edge of the frame. And I got a stone here, so you've seen me make those in videos. Some more stalagmites. And so there we go. So, you show them what they see, right? So they could be looking around the cave, maybe they're trying to find stuff. But when you put this terrain down, it's great because you're only revealing what they see, and then you can also reveal the monster. So the monster comes out from a certain piece of terrain. As they get close enough, maybe they ambush them, or they're lying in wait to attack. So they all move out, and you can have a battle going. And yeah, so we'll move this out of the way, and we'll kind of move the cavern down. And generally what I do is I have the players map out. Even when I'm playing with tiles, I have the players map out. So you could just have the players, one player be a mapper and map out it doesn't have to be a great map, just a rough map of the cavern or the dungeon. And then that way you can just keep reusing the pieces, right? So here I'll remove the creatures. And we'll do some more configurations here. And you can turn them either way, so you could have the pieces going one way or the other, which is really cool. So I'm going to have a passage leading off, so I'll just put that one there, and then put another there, and that's a great way to show a passage leading off, and then you can just expand into more passages. You could have as many as you wanted. And like I say, this is really great. This could be all on the fly. You could just be making this up as you go along, which is really what's nice about this system. But it still gives you a nice defined play area as far as the 2.5D, and I like that. So let's put some more stuff down. Here's some rubble I made. So these are all just things that I put on a tile, I've based them on cardstock so I could lay them down. Now here's a subterranean entrance, so that could be going to another cavern. You could have monsters come out of that. So that's a nice, you can reveal that when they get close enough. Here's a little pool, so that's kind of cool. So yeah, it's just the same as a regular tile, you're just laying individual pieces. And there's some more stalagmites I made. So yeah, I got a nice play area there, and yeah, it's very similar to the tile base. It does take a little longer to set up than a tile, but it gives you a lot more variety. So here is some pillars, stone pillars, and you could use those in the cave, have creatures come out from behind them, that kind of thing. So like I said, I'll show you how to do those in another video. And there we go, that's the cavern system. Hey guys, I hope you really enjoyed this alternate 2.5D method. Nothing wrong with doing either one, it's just whichever you prefer. This just makes it a little easier to do things on the fly. I used it in my last game with the Adventure Isle project, and it worked really well. I also want to say that if you enjoy this kind of crafting or you'd like to get involved, make sure to join my Facebook page or my forum. Great community on there. Also, make sure to give your DM Scotty a like if you like this video. And also, I have tons and tons of videos, so if you're looking for a subject, even maybe not 2.5D related, but just terrain related as far as dungeons, check through my videos. I have tons of videos on terrain, on techniques, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, make sure to check out my other videos, and I will see you next time for more crafting. Game on. Roderick, kill all these creatures.
Oh, I beg to differ. I used my magic on them. A little bit.
Oh, and I helped. I stabbed him in the back.
Yes, some, but I did most of the work. Roderick is the strongest of all.